Hello and welcome back to a new episode of Halfway with Hathaway. I'm George Hathaway here, and I'm joined by my good friend Jay Fudge. Thank you so much for joining us. And I know you have your own podcast as well that I've joined in on a few times throughout the last 4 years. So it's great to have you on.
Yeah, glad to be here, man. I know I've tried to be on your show a few times,
Mhm.
and somehow this just now happened like within the last hour that I
No,
joined.
no, it was so crazy.
But
It's like we were just texting about you asked me to hop on Marvel Rivals, which a game I need to get because I saw some how good it was, and I was like, no, I'm about to record a podcast. And you're like, oh, let me hop on, and you
yeah,
know, yeah. So no, it's good to see you. Hope you're doing well, man. And we got a good week of football, really. That's kind of just been the last few weeks. Been rounding out. We have the college football playoffs this week, and then we also have the wild card weekend here for the NFL for their playoffs. A lot to talk about when it comes to the NFL, college football. That's gonna be our main discussion, I think, for this podcast episode. NBA, I mean, yeah, Zion's back, so the ratings are gonna go up because he's just, Zion Williamson. You know how I feel about him. Everybody does. So, but yeah, this is going to be more football focused, but kicking it off with college football playoffs, we have a good slate, coming up this week. Um, we have Notre Dame, Penn State. That's going to be a really good game, and then we also have Ohio State and Texas. The last four teams. I don't think you could pick four better teams in this right here.
yeah, I agree. I think it's the four best from what we've seen. Uh, like I was saying earlier, I guess we'll get into the picks later, but I
Mhm.
think from what we've seen, they've done the best job. Ohio State is the most talented. They're my pick to win it all. I had them at the beginning, and we were just talking about Jeremiah Smith. He had an amazing outing at the Rose Bowl. I didn't get to watch the game, but I did see the stats. Jeremiah Smith could be a top 10 pick in this year's drafts
Hmm.
easily, easily. But yeah, Oregon got their doors blown off. I was not expecting
Yep.
that. That was yeah, from the get-go, Ohio State was I think it was 34-0 at halftime or 34 to
Yeah.
7. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it was
insane, man.
crazy. I mean, considering the last time these two teams played each other, it came down to a field goal to win the
Right,
game.
right.
And, everybody I think was expecting the same thing. It was like, all right, these are the two best teams right now. We saw a great matchup in the regular season between them in Oregon. And now it's just like, what happened? Ohio State got their revenge. And they really just beat the brakes off of Oregon. And it from the get-go, from the first kickoff until when the clock hit triple zeros, Ohio State just kept adding on and adding on. And
Hmm.
that's I think that's why, whoever was the winner of that game was going to win the entire college football playoffs. I personally believed, and like you said, Ohio State, that's your favorite to win it all, and they certainly can with how this offense has been performing, and their defense has been solid too. They held Oregon for a majority of that game to not score. And Oregon has a
Hmm.
very talented offense, and and they had a Heisman candidate, quarterback there, but we all know who won the Heisman with Travis Hunter. So,
Oh, do you not agree?
I wanted it to be Ashton Genty. I personally believe
That's
that
fair.
that was one of the best, um, seasons from a running back in college football that we've seen in a very long time. But again, Travis Hunter playing that dual threat, right? He was a great wide receiver, but he could also lock you down on the defensive side of the ball. So I think that's why he got it, is because we've never seen somebody like that in college football that can play both sides of the ball at that high level. Kind of reminds me of like a little bit of Shohei Ohtani, a guy who can hit very well but is an amazing pitcher, something that we've never seen before in the sport. Would be interesting to see how it pans out for him in the NFL, wherever he may land. Is he going to be a wide receiver? Is he going to be a corner? Is he going to be both? Because we've never seen a guy play both sides of the ball in the NFL and succeed.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a bit of a culture shock for the
Mhm.
voters, but I agree with you. I would have given it to Genty just because of his historic season.
Mhm.
I don't think he broke Barry Sanders' record, but he was close,
It was.
his rushing record.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think it was just a matter of also that I think there's a bit of popularity in there, whether you want to admit it or not.
Of course.
Travis Hunter, he's just a bigger brand than Ashton Genty, obviously. Yeah, he still had an incredible season. I think he had 13 receiving touchdowns,
Mhm.
had 4 interceptions. He had over 1,000 receiving yards. So he still had an incredible season. I'm not taking anything away from that. I just think I would have gave it to Genty for what he did for Boise State for that program and getting them to the playoffs, which was
Mhm.
unexpected too.
Yeah, when you think of the Heisman, you think of like they're the MVP, right? They're the most
Right.
valuable player. You take Travis Hunter away from Colorado. Are they any different, with or without him? But if you take Ashton Genty away from Boise State, are they that same team? And that's how I look at it. They're the most valuable player for that team. Same thing goes with the NFL too, right? You have Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Those have been like, the two people who are at the top of the list for NFL MVP. If you take Lamar away from the Ravens, are they still a good team? Derrick Henry rushing about 1,900 yards, right? He's been very solid. Josh Allen putting up a great performance as well for the Buffalo Bills. If you take him away from the team, are the Bills even that good of a team? Are they second in the AFC? Right? So it's just like those types of things I think about when it comes to, the MVP for the NFL and then the Heisman as well for college football.
Yeah, you have to consider all those factors. And I agree with that fact because without Josh Allen, the Bills would be in the gutter
Yeah.
100%. And you just look at their roster, they lost Gabe Davis
Mhm.
to the Jaguars, lost Stephon Diggs to the Texans, and they're still in the playoff. Were they number 2 seed
Yeah, I believe they're a
in
two
AFC?
seed. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're still doing their thing, even with all that lost talent. Nobody expected them to go this far, and Josh Allen's having a great season. Obviously, Lamar statistically,
Mhm.
he's outplaying him in every most of the major stats that I've seen.
Yeah.
Lamar's outplaying him, but the Bills have a better record. I think Lamar has better talent, but Josh on his end, he's doing great individually. So I think they're going to give it to Josh. There might be a little bit of voter fatigue in there, like with the NBA. You
Yeah.
know, LeBron. I think he should have way more than 4 MVPs. That's another tangent, but yeah, I think Josh Allen will win MVP this year for sure.
I think so too. I mean, Joe Burrow is in the mix for kind of his, performance. Um, and then it's like, okay, what about Saquon Barkley, right? Who had
Mhm.
a phenomenal season, almost a record-breaking season, which honestly, in my opinion, he's 105 yards short. He should have played the last game just for the first half.
Yeah,
And you're playing
against
the
his old
Giants.
franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So I personally thought that Saquon should have played go break a record, right?
Right.
But again, like Saquon, could he been an MVP? Because for his record-breaking season, how dominant he's been with the Eagles in his first year there. That's like another thing you have to think about. Or is he going to be just a offensive player of the year? Because I think, in my opinion, like if you're second in the MVP voting offensively, because you're going to give it to a quarterback. So most likely, offensive player of the year is probably going to go to Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, absolutely. And that hurts my heart hearing that as a Giants fan.
Yep.
That's man. Yeah, he did incredible things for Philly. And we let him walk because we paid Daniel Jones $40 million. And now
Where's
he's
Danny Dimes?
he's on the Vikings practice squad,
Yeah.
rotting away. And now he's
And the Vikings aren't even paying him, right? That's all from the
right.
Giants.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's all Giants money. It's all Giants money. I think DJ is about to be a free agent, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what's gonna happen with him. I'm in the future with the Giants now. DJ is the past. But we've made some huge mistakes. Saquon is one of them at the
Hmm.
top upper echelon, and he's just proving why we should have paid him most of that money that DJ is getting. So yeah, I'm still proud of him. No bad blood, even though he went to a division rival. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, talking about the future, for the New York Giants
Hmm.
NFL draft, it's been, the talk. If your team's not in the playoffs, you're talking about the NFL draft right now. And Jay, both of our favorite teams are not in the NFL playoffs. No shocker
Heartbreak.
there. Your Giants, my Patriots. But we're looking at the draft right now. Giants picking third, Patriots picking right behind you guys at fourth. So you're looking at this draft, and Cam Ward projected to go first overall to Tennessee. That's a team that needs a quarterback. I'm surprised, like if you're picking second, are you going with Shador? If you're the Cleveland Browns, or are you going to take somebody like Travis Hunter because you don't really need a quarterback because you have Deshaun Watson right now.
I still think the Browns are going to take a QB
Hmm.
because the Deshaun Watson experiment just isn't working. I
Yeah.
think they're going to start fresh and draft either one of Sanders or Ward, whoever's available. I think the Tennessee and Cleveland are both taking the QB and leaving Travis Hunter to go to New York, which I would be perfectly fine with. That's just my opinion.
But can Travis play QB? Who's going to be
He he
throwing the
can't
ball?
he can't play QB, but I have a theory here. So we take Travis at 3, okay?
Mhm.
We take the Ole Miss legend Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss, second round. I'm looking at some mock drafts and saying we're taking Jalen Milrow. I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening. Let's be real here. The Giants don't draft black quarterbacks, and I don't think it's going to happen in the second round. If we do, it would be one of Shador or Cam Ward,
Mhm.
but they might be off the board at that time.
Yeah.
So if we take one in the second round, it would be Quinn Ewers, Jackson Dart, something in that realm, or we could go in free agency, sign a Justin Fields, a Sam Darnold, something of that nature, just as a bridge QB until the next draft class, when Arch Manning is available,
Yeah,
which is hypothetical, but
that's true. I mean, that's
yeah,
what a Giant fan wants, right? A Manning back on the squad, huh?
yeah, or an Ole Miss QB.
Hmm.
We're reminiscing over here. Jackson Dart, we could have him in New York, but like you said, it's not 2007 anymore. It's not 2011.
Yep.
Giants are in the gutter. Patriots are in the gutter. Gerard Mayo. What happened with
Yeah.
Gerard Mayo, man? Yeah, let's
Listen.
talk about your team. I'm tired of talking about my team.
Yeah, no, so yeah, Mayo that failed. You know, after week one, I said, "Oh my gosh, this team's winning a Super Bowl. We just beat the Cincinnati Bengals, right?"
Oh,
And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then week two happened. I said, "Okay, never mind. This is the only game we're winning all season long." Then we lost like to everybody. And for the number one pick on the line, the Patriots decide to win. I don't, I get it. You don't want to go out there and lose purposely, right? That's not the Patriot way. I've also never had to experience that in my life where it's like, let's keep tanking, right?
right, right.
It's just more like, let's rest Tom Brady so he can beat the brakes off of everybody in the NFL playoffs. Who cares if we lose the last game of the season? But to me, it was just like Gerard Mayo said he didn't know that he was getting fired. To me, it's just like you definitely knew going into this game you're getting fired at the end of the season. A big like F you to Robert Kraft and the Patriots is let me screw you in the long run and just win and have you lose that first pick in the draft. And to me, it makes it more difficult for the Patriots now having the fourth pick than the first pick. Because, of course, if you had the first pick, the Patriots don't need a QB. They have Drake May, who's their future, the second coming of Tom Brady. And so I think what they could have done with the first pick is use it as leverage. And I said it in my last week's episode use it as leverage, trade down, get some, good collateral. If it's like a good receiver, maybe somebody on the defensive side and some draft picks, then you can really start building that. But now at the fourth pick in the draft, if you're the New England Patriots, you're looking at Kelvin Banks Jr., an offensive tackle from Texas, who's a good pick. Will Campbell is somebody else who I like, another offensive tackle. But again, are you going to use that top five pick on an offensive tackle where maybe you could probably get that second round? Would you rather go for a wide receiver? If you're the New England Patriots, because that was something that's been the team has struggled with all season long is their leading receiver was their tight end, and Hunter Henry. So you have to think of it that way. Joe Milton played great. I would love to see him as a backup to Drake May, or we could trade him away and just get some like a second round pick, third round pick, and some again other players that we could kind of build the team up with. But I would love to see Joe Milton stay because he played phenomenal for the Patriots.
Absolutely. And yeah, you can never go wrong with an offensive lineman. Like you need guys to protect Drake May. Like you said, he's your
Mhm.
franchise QB. But I think you guys put yourself in a jeopardized position, dropping to fourth, like you
Yeah.
said, with that win at the end of the season. I can relate because we beat the Colts for what reason? I don't know why, but made us drop to three. We could have had number one um, as well. And you know, you can't go wrong with Kelvin Banks, Will Campbell, like you were saying, for protection up front.
Mhm.
But because obviously, you look at the draft list, right? You got Sanders, Ward, Hunter. Those are going to be the top three picks, undisputed.
Mhm.
I would assume. So it does make it a bit difficult with number four. But yeah, I think that would be the best direction for New England at the moment. And then yeah, you can build throughout the draft, like you said, with trades, or you know, maybe they'll trade up. I have been seeing stuff with that. I don't know if that's true that they'll trade up. I don't think they will. But if they keep number four, I'll take an O lineman because uh at corner, I mean honestly, they need pretty much everything, right?
Yeah, I would say the
Yeah.
Patriots need offensive tackle, receivers, and I'd say like defensive tackles, linebackers. Because I think like they're fine with
Mm,
their cornerbacks. Christian Gonzalez should have been a Pro Bowler, but he was snubbed
right,
for
right.
that. But I mean, Christian Gonzalez is probably one of the best the corners in the NFL, in my opinion. And he's so young too in his
Mm.
second season. Um,
Yeah, you
I
could
would
pair
have
him up
loved,
with Will Johnson,
yeah, yeah, you
possibly.
could. Yeah, I was gonna say like if we still had the third pick, first pick or something like that, traded down to get Travis Hunter, could you imagine both of them on the defensive side of the ball?
Mm.
There's like
Yeah,
no
for sure.
Revis Island all over again.
For sure. Got me reminiscing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't imagine. You know, if New York does happen to take Travis Hunter at three, I think that's an exciting combination of Travis Hunter and Malik Neighbors.
Hmm.
I don't know which side of the ball they make him play. I would assume corner because I don't think playing both sides is sustainable in the NFL. Only player we've seen do that is maybe Dion or
Hmm.
Charles Woodson, but I
Yeah.
don't think he's not going to play 120 snaps a game.
No.
It's not happening. So yeah,
And when I think of Travis Hunter too, it's like the money aspect of it, right? You get more money as a wide receiver versus like a cornerback. You
right.
don't see cornerbacks getting, like a few $100 million contracts like wide receivers do in the NFL. So like to me, is that a factor into what side of the ball he plays, or will it be in his contract that like, okay, if you have, you have to play this many snaps, as a corner if you want. I don't know. Like I don't know how this is going to kind of go down, but that was just like one thing I think about when it comes to Travis Hunter is like the money aspect of it.
Mm.
Would you rather get paid more to play receiver or get paid like a little bit less to play a corner? And then maybe somehow find a way to work out both, but hopefully the, Giants just don't let him walk away.
Yeah, knowing the Giants will draft somebody else, like I don't know, Malachi Starks or something over
Jalen Milroe
Travis.
goes third.
Yeah, Jalen Milroy, I could see it. I could see it. So I just don't want to be disappointed. You know, we retained Joe Shane and Brian Dable. I
Yeah.
have faith in them. I don't think Brian Dable's been dealt a good hand. You know, everybody's
Mhm.
making him the scapegoat. I think he's a good coach. He won Coach of the Year for a reason. You know, got to playoffs that first year with
Mhm.
DJ and Saquon, and that team beat the Vikings first round. So I'm glad that he's getting more run, more burn because I don't think going through coaches every 2 years is going to help you build anything. That's not a shot at Gerard Mayo and the
Listen, I don't
Patriots,
I
but
don't know what that's like to go through three
yeah,
coaches in 3 years.
oh,
I'm
you can't
not
relate.
used to that.
Yeah,
Uh, like I don't know what it's like to be in your shoes, right? Because
right.
I mean, I guess from 2000, 11 on, because
Yeah,
after
after
that,
Tom Coughlin, it's been a
yeah,
carousel.
exactly. I mean, I feel like it might be the same way, like Bill Belichick after him being gone, Gerard Mayo, who, yeah, I kind of said some, like I didn't say like bad things, but I was like, yeah, the Patriots should fire him. Um, but he also wasn't given a good situation either. First year head coach with a first year, um, offensive coordinator with Alex Van Pelt, who I think should go next. But he wasn't given a good hand. The Patriots last year, they also went 4-13 as well, I'm pretty sure. So like the same record, right? as this year's team. And so I think Mike Vrabel, I thought he should have been the head coach from the start in New England, but I would not be opposed to Ben Johnson being, the head coach for the Patriots and also being the offensive coordinator at the same time, calling the plays. Just because he has great schemes as a coordinator right now in Detroit, of course, who I think a lot of people want to see win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he completely turned that franchise around. The Lions offense is just fun to watch in general.
It is.
So yeah, if he went to New England, that'd be a great hire for you guys. And I could see why a lot of people want Detroit to win because they haven't done anything since 1975. So it's understandable.
Yeah, no. I mean, I know I'm rooting for the Lions. I'd like to also see the Bills in the Super Bowl as well, just because, they're a team that hasn't won before, so and they have lost three straight in a row, which I don't know what that's like. So I just don't want to see anybody but the Chiefs. Honestly, I think that's a
Yeah,
consensus all around, unless you live in Missouri or Kansas City.
yeah,
So
100%.
I just know that that's what America wants because nobody wants to see the Chiefs three-peat. Even though, yes, it would be cool to see a team three-peat, just because like you want to see a dynasty like that. But I don't think people want it to be Kansas City.
By people, do you mean you and Patriots fans and Tom Brady defenders? Because
Um,
Mahomes, he's on your tail.
yeah,
Four
that's
rings,
yeah.
possibly.
I mean, when it comes to that debate, I think it's stupid. Um, because Brady, yes, he has the rings. Yeah, Mahomes is like gonna catch up to him rings wise, but like let's look at yards, touchdowns, playoff stats. Who beat who in the Super Bowl and the playoffs several times. So like, can you really compare that when Mahomes like stats wise isn't really kind of close to Tom Brady when it comes and Tom Brady beat him head to head several times as well. So it's like you can't be the GOAT if you can't beat the GOAT.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yes, I do mean by we, as in Patriots fans, New
Right.
England, everybody who
Right.
loves Tom Brady.
Yeah. I just had to play devil's advocate there, but
No,
yeah.
you're good. I
Yeah.
appreciate that because you are right. I mean, I bet there are people who are Chiefs fans. Our good friend Tommy is looking for a new team right now, so he's probably going to bandwagon at somebody like the Lions or
Yeah.
Chiefs. I think he said the Lions. I don't know because Miami, that the AFC East isn't good right now.
Yeah. The whole city of Miami is in shambles right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Everybody's jumping ship.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jimmy
Jimmy,
Butler. Oh man.
Jimmy, Tyreek, Tommy's also requested a trade out of Miami as well. So yeah,
Is
nobody wants
he?
to be in the 305 right now. It's ugly.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, it's crazy, kind of looking at, sports right now in Miami just because of what's kind of been going down. And that was probably the destination that everybody wanted to be in, but now everybody wants out. Not surprised though about Jimmy Butler, to be honest. Considering his past, how Philly went, how Minnesota went, I'm not surprised it's happening here in Miami right now.
Yeah, it's tough to see. I thought Jimmy would retire in Miami. He's been here for 5 years now. And everybody sees Miami is like some dream location, South Beach, the
Mhm.
weather, no state income tax, all this. And all of a sudden, the two biggest stars in Miami just request out within 3 days of each other. It's insane.
You think that they're definitely texting each other? They're like,
They
let's
have
get
to be.
out of here.
Yeah, they have to be.
I mean,
Uh,
I don't know where Tyreek Hill will end up. I don't know. You see, he changed his profile
um,
picture on X to Antonio Brown, and like,
yes.
yeah,
CT ESPN.
yep,
Yep.
CT ESPN. I
Yeah,
know,
man.
I know. You look at that as another team, you're like, oh, do I want that now?
Right, right. And I mean, Jimmy, he hasn't been up until this point, he hasn't been that diva, I guess you could say,
Hmm. Hmm.
like he did with the Timberwolves. He did the practice, like the GM came in, he was like, y'all need me, you need me to win.
Listen,
He did all
he
that,
wasn't
and then
wrong.
the whole drama with the Sixers. He
Yeah.
he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. But at that point, people were saying Jimmy Butler's a locker room cancer.
Mhm.
He's doing all this. He's doing all that. But within Miami, people saying he's had the culture, and he's been fine the past 5 years. But up until this point, he's now at the diva status, and
Yeah.
people are saying he doesn't want to go to the Grizzlies or the Bucks, and he at first he said I want to be in Miami. Now he's making specific requests, so I don't know. There's all
Yeah,
kinds of reports.
yeah, I don't know with these reports. I won't believe anything until it actually does happen.
Yeah.
Because like this has been going on for months now, that this whole Jimmy talk that like he wants a
Mhm.
trade. Then his agent's like, no, Shams, you're lying. There is no trade. He wants to stay. And then the report about Shams being it was right. It was just a whole back and forth thing. And then now with what teams he wants, a whole ordeal. And that's why, like I said, I won't pay attention to it. Of course, I like listen to you guys talking about it, and I read the text, but like I won't believe anything until it actually does happen that Jimmy's gone from Miami, which maybe will probably be by like the trade deadline. I'm saying February, something actually happens. Give it another month.
Yeah, trade deadline is in less than a month, I think. I think
Yeah.
it's February 2nd, I believe.
Hmm.
And Jimmy's on game 3 of a 7-game suspension. So, we'll see. And that whole ordeal with Shams and Bernie Lee, that's Jimmy's representative.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. I don't know what Bernie was trying to accomplish with that. But yeah, everybody owes Shams an apology. Jimmy clearly wants out. So
Listen, Sham's the best of the best when
yeah,
it comes to that insider information. Um, but
just wait on the
before,
Shams bomb.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Just wait on the Shams bomb sooner than later.
Exactly.
Yep, yep.
Yep, it'll drop. It'll drop. So before we wrap things up here on this episode of Halfway with Hathaway, gonna go over our picks for the college football playoffs. Jay, what do you have?
College football playoffs. Okay, we're going to keep it simple. I already said in the beginning of the episode that I have Ohio State winning outright. They
Hmm.
were my initial pick at the beginning of the season. I had Ohio State winning it all. They got too much talent. We got Jeremiah Smith. He's a monster. You got Emeka Ibuka, Trayvon Henderson, Quinshon Judkins, and you got Will Howard. He's a great QB. So I got Ohio State outright in that game.
I also have Ohio State money line against Texas. I also added in there Jeremiah Smith anytime touchdown score. That's a plus 132 bet right there. So that's what I'm looking at for the Ohio State Texas game. Notre Dame Penn State. I just have Notre Dame money line. How about you?
Yeah, I got Notre Dame money line. No argument there. Notre Dame's been balling ever since they got embarrassed by the Huskies of Northern Illinois.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody forgot about that loss. That just happened in September in South Bend. And yeah, they've been playing their tails off ever since that happened. So yeah, Notre Dame money line.
I know. And NIU, aren't they they're in the Mountain West now, right?
Right, right. They
Yeah,
just
that's
transitioned. Yeah.
huge. That's huge. And so for the NFL playoffs this weekend, wild card weekend, what do you have?
Okay, so we're gonna start in the AFC. I got the Texans over the Chargers
Mhm.
outright. CJ Stroud, he's just got that play a little bit of playoff experience from last season when I think it was the Browns, I believe they beat in the first round.
Yes. Yes.
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I just like what I see for Stroud. I think he's generational talent. I got them over the Chargers. I just think Texans are a more well-rounded team. You want me to go through the whole AFC, or we're just going matchup by matchup?
We can do matchup by matchup. I also have
Okay.
Texans +3. Took them let's hopefully they can cover the spread.
Okay.
Just because like the injuries, those have been piling up for the Texans. Chargers a decent team, but I still think, Houston.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they pull it out for sure, for sure. And then next game, staying in the AFC, I got the. This is a bit of a surprise, and I also have food hedging over with my roommate. We have a bit of a bet on this. He's a big Ravens fan. I'm going Steelers over Ravens outright.
Wow.
Yeah, call me insane. Call me insane.
Wow.
I
Okay.
probably am insane. Probably
Yeah.
am insane. But yeah, Steelers over Ravens outright. My reasoning is I just have a feeling it's intuition.
I have Ravens money line, so I'm
Yeah,
against you there. I just think
yeah,
the Ravens are good. I've been watching, the Steelers. They just haven't been looking good. George Pickens can't hold on to a football. Russ has been not cooking. So that's why I'm having the Ravens.
yeah. I think that's just a hater pick. Uh, it's more of a heart over mind.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do it. It's like in college game day when they don't want the graphic to be the same. I'm
Hmm.
just trying to be
Yep.
different. So yeah, Steelers over Ravens. And next matchup, I got Bills over Broncos. I don't think there needs to be much of a
Nope.
discussion here.
No, I'm with
Yeah,
you there. Yep.
yeah,
Bills.
money line outright. So
Yep.
and yeah, transitioning to the NFC, I got the Vikings money line over the Rams. I think you said you had a surprise for this pick.
Yeah, I have Rams plus 1.5. I think, after watching the Vikings Lions game, Sam Darnold looks like the Sam Darnold that he was on the Jets. So that's
Mhm.
why, like, and then there's three times where like Jefferson was wide open and he overthrew him, or like Jefferson just didn't catch the football, and it was just like, okay. And the Rams, I think Matthew Stafford have something to prove. Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, those guys are ballers. And I think the Rams have something to prove. So that's why Rams plus 1.5.
That's such a tough spread to take. I'm more of a money line guy over spread guy. Like what is that? 1.5 points?
Yeah,
That's
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 tough.
insane.
I think it'll be a close one. I'm hoping for a close one.
Gotcha, gotcha. But yeah, got Vikes outright. And then next matchup, Bucks and Commanders. I've got the Bucks -3 with that game. Uh that's another thing with playoff experience as well. I think that'll be a bit of a toss up, but I do have the Bucks -3 in that one.
I have the Commanders money line straight up.
Straight
I
up.
I just like Jaden Daniels. I look what the Commanders have been doing. Um, Hudson also would probably kill me if I didn't say the Commanders. So no,
Fair
but I
enough.
think it's
Yeah.
actually be a good game. That's one game where I was like, all right, it's a toss up. Because the Bucks have also been playing really well. Baker Mayfield had a really good run. Last season, him and Mike Evans have been connecting lately. So I think that this one will probably be like one of the best games, probably a wild card weekend.
Yeah. Baker Mayfield is balling, Mike Evans is
Mhm.
balling, Bucky Irving is balling.
Bucky Urban.
Yeah. So I think it'll be a close game, but that's
Hmm.
why I'm actually taking the spread in that one, which I usually don't.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got that one. And then last game in the NFC, you got the Packers and the Eagles. I had the Packers covering
Nice.
the spread.
I have Philly money line straight up. So
Money line straight up. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. We did not agree on most of these picks, but
No, which is
that's what I'm
fine.
here
I,
for.
I I like it. There are some good picks that we both had. We'll see who wins. I'll make sure
And
to
what
let you
was the
know.
Packers Eagles spread? Do you know that one?
I don't off the top of my head now.
Okay. Well, Packers are covering. That's all you need to know, folks. All right.
Well, that'll wrap things up here on this week's episode of Halfway with Hathaway. I'm George Hathaway. Big thank you to my good friend Jay Fudge for joining me on the podcast. And also make sure to listen to his podcast, Burner Talk. You can find that wherever you listen to your podcast. Jay, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for having me. Glad I could join, and I'll happy to come back on again. Also, shout out Jay's parlays. Let's do it.
Yes, Jay Parlay. We'll see how our picks do this week. Because it has not been a good start to the new year for me. So we need to bounce back, and hopefully this is
Hey.
the week to do so. Am I right? All right, but thank you so much for listening, guys. Have a great time.